Hi, my name is Gibson, and I'm the creator of the Personal Development School. This is your daily breakthrough video, and in this video, I want to discuss how to end the relationship to being breadcrumbed if you are an anxious, preoccupied attachment style. So, one of the first things we know is unfortunately, anxious, preoccupied individuals often fall into situationships with individuals who are breadcrumbing them for prolonged periods of time. And if you are an anxious person and you see this in your history, we have to get to the bottom of why in order to transform and transcend that experience. So, a few things that you need to know as sort of these prerequisite steps to doing the work to actually get out of these dynamics once and for all and to stop letting them back in your life is number one, part of you allows breadcrumbing because of limiting beliefs you have about yourself. These limiting beliefs often include things like, I won't find somebody better. I don't know how to be alone. It's my fault things aren't working. I'm not good enough. There's many other different ones, right? Fearing abandonment, fearing basically the fear of having to deal with abandonment more than the fear of like setting a boundary, right? So if you imagine yourself in a situation under this section number one, right, under the limiting belief element of why we get into these breadcrumbing situations, it's like the pain of staying in the relationship that's not working to your subconscious mind, according to its limiting beliefs and fears, is less painful than the pain of abandonment, right? Or the pain of a breakup or a disconnection. So you're kind of like picking the lesser of two evils, even though that's not the truth long term. So in the short term, it may feel like, oh my gosh, this is more pain. Going through the breakup will be more painful than staying in the painful situation. But if you add that up across time, staying in a painful situation, missing out on the growth opportunities, missing out on, actually being open to find the potentially right partner who's willing to participate in a more reciprocal relationship with you. The growth that comes with setting boundaries and healing, the elevated self-worth that comes as a result of no longer allowing yourself to be in situations that are not serving you. All of those things are like actually way less painful, right? They're like equilibrating and then some, the pain of the actual leaving or breaking apart of that relationship that's not working. So number one, you want to start by looking at the limiting beliefs and reprogramming them. We have tons of content in the personal development school. If you want to check it out, I've got a couple videos on this channel as well about reprogramming limiting beliefs. It's one of the most important life skills I think that you'll learn as a person, because I really believe how our life is the result of what we did from the inside out. And once we've got a really good inside out, like really good subconscious reprogramming, really good programming that's working for us, then, so much more is possible for us. So we remove the glass ceilings of our lives in advance. Anyways, if you want to do a deep dive into a course that goes through so many reprogramming tools, you can check out for free for 7 days a course I have called 21 Ways to Reprogram the Subconscious Mind. And you can use the 7-day free trial link below to access that. It also comes with all the other courses. Another really great course for reprogramming in PDS is the Emotional Mastery and Belief Reprogramming course. It helps you learn why we're carrying limiting beliefs, how to regulate, how to break through them. Anyways, so that's a great thing to practice, but you want to reprogram these limiting beliefs that are keeping you in the relationship. The second thing is you want to look at what are the costs of staying, write them all out. That's going to be a very helpful tool for like starting to realize the effects of actually staying and what are the benefits if I go, write them all out, really try to feel about them. This will give you a little bit of emotional leverage to move forward. The other reasons that anxious, preoccupied individuals stay in these relationships is because they're generally disempowered when it comes to meeting their own needs. So how anxious, preoccupied individuals sort of adapt to challenging events in their lives is to become hyper externally focused and to try to become very good at getting their needs met from external relationships. And while that is an adaptation that may have served in childhood to a certain degree, this is not a healthy adaptation for the course of life, because ultimately the hardest thing to control and the hardest thing to feel empowered in your relationship to is the outside world, because it is always changing. People's lives are always changing. People have different programming than us. And it does not mean don't have these healthy interdependent relationships where we do ask for our needs and all these different things, but it means that we also have to be a resource of getting that to happen. So if I prefer to get my needs met for physical touch from my husband, but my husband's, away for a week doing work or something like that, I know that, okay, if I'm missing that, I can simulate physical touch, and I can put some cozy candles on, and I can put some, blankets around me and cozy PJs and turn on the fireplace and have a cup of tea. And I can get the needs I would seek from touch, like comfort, security, connection, met within the relationship to myself by creating a cozy environment for myself that gives me that comfort and security feeling. And then also doing something that makes me feel emotionally connected to myself, like journaling, like reading a book about personal growth or meditating, or these things that are still going to fill those buckets. So we want to find these empowered ways to get the needs met that we're seeking so desperately outside of us, so that when some people are not available, we can be a resource to ourselves too. And the easiest thing to control in life when we have the right tools is our internal environment, not the external world. And so that puts us back into a healthy, more empowered situation once again. So with that all being said, this reason that APs put up with breadcrumbing a lot of the time is because they don't know what their needs are, or they don't have conscious strategies and empowered ways to get their needs met. And so they're terrified of losing. Like, think of it. If your cup is empty, right? And you barely put drops in your own cup to fill your cup of water, but Bob, the breadcrumber, is going to fill your cup a milliliter of the way every hour. You're going to go for that because that's giving you a little more than you're giving to yourself. So you're still seeing that as like relief and still seeing that as like a resource. And so you're like, I don't want to let go of that. That's my one way I get my cup full. But the actual way that's going to empower you long-term is to stop relying on suboptimal ways like breadcrumbing from people, and learn to get your needs met in healthy ways, empowered ways. Learn who you are, what your needs are, and consciously create healthy strategies to get those needs met from yourself, and also from communicating to family members, to friends, to people that are reliable in your life. And so then your cup is so full that when Bob comes along and says, oh, I'm going to put a little milliliter of water in your cup, every few days, do you want to stick around for it? You're like, no, that's not a good use of my time, because my cup is mostly full and I'd rather be seeking people who are going to pour into my cup like I would pour into theirs. So when you have this dynamic and you're clear about it, all of a sudden, all of this stuff changes, right? Like, so much transformation is possible. And the more your cup is full, the less you're willing to stick around for things that are not actually going to fill your, quench your thirst, fill your appetite, whatever, however you want to think of it from a bread way, perhaps, fill your appetite. I don't know. Anyways, so when you get into this dynamic and situation, you can take a look here and be like, what are my limiting beliefs that are keeping me staying? What are the costs of sticking around? What are the benefits of actually leaving and setting myself free? And how can I start meeting needs in the relationship to myself, so I'm no longer attracted to crumbs, a milliliter of water, whatever it is. It doesn't do it for me, because that's not adding much value to me. And so I can spend my time more effectively in other places. So with all of that being said, the last thing I'll add in here is just that in doing all of that, you're also reconditioning the subconscious comfort zone in relationship to self. And so much of what we choose in life, I say this a lot on this channel, but I feel like you just can't say it enough. What we choose in life reflects what our relationship to ourself is. So if I'm abundant in self-love, right? I'm abundant in like knowing my needs, meeting them, giving care to my emotions and my emotional state, investing in myself, and the things that are important to me, setting good boundaries, making sure that I'm in a place where I'm communicating my needs and sharing them with other people so I can receive them. I don't have limiting beliefs about myself. If I'm in this place where I'm really overflowing, I'm not going to choose things that are not a match to that, because my subconscious mind wants to maintain its comfort zone. So it wants to continue, and it sees that as like a survival strategy. It wants to continue to create and connect to things that are familiar and safe and comfortable. If I'm somebody instead who's constantly dismissing myself, dismissing my needs, not setting my boundaries, then my subconscious chooses that. It chooses somebody who's also going to dismiss me, dismiss my needs, dismiss my boundaries, because that's what feels safe and familiar and comfortable. And ultimately, we are survival wired at the end of the day. So until we bring our conscious mind into the mix, our subconscious mind is just choosing things out of safety and familiarity. So we have to be able to recondition that by giving to ourselves first, which then expands out all of the possibilities ahead of us. So I hope this all makes sense. It's pretty important stuff for breaking free of breadcrumb relationships. If you're in breadcrumbing relationships all the time, there's growth for you. There's freedom on the other side of doing this work. There's an opportunity to fill up yourself from the inside out, and then only really be attracted to people who are going to choose you back long term. So it's not only going to help you thrive, but your future relationships thrive as well. So take the time and give yourself this gift. Do the work so you're not breadcrumbed any longer and not attracted to situations like that. And ultimately, you get to set yourself free. So that's it for today. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to this channel if you enjoyed the content today. I would really appreciate it. And I'll see you in the next video.